I am super nervous, you guys, but here goes nothing. Hey guys, Kira here from 50 Shades of Mom, and I am here today sitting in my big comfy chair, and I'm here to share with you guys somewhat of an unconventional video, not just for my channel, but kind of in general. So I don't know if you guys saw, but if you didn't see the vlog from a couple of weeks back, I will put it in the description box. But I had mentioned in a vlog that I had ordered a cookbook online and it had came in the mail, and I was like anxious about wanting to dive into this cookbook and sharing it with you guys as a new segment on my channel. So the name of the cookbook was 50 Shades of Chicken. I was like over the moon when I stumbled upon this cookbook, and I just thought it was a super cute play on my channel, on my wheelhouse, which is food and being in the kitchen, and I was really, really excited about it. And then I started reading into this cookbook a little bit, and you guys, the innuendos in this book are like, it's very hysterical, it's very funny. You just have to have a super open mind to be able to receive this book. So I'm going to show you the cover. This is what the cookbook looks like. It was probably a little bit of a glare from my window, but like, this entire book is meant to be a gigantic play off of 50. So even the author did F.L. Fowler instead of E.L. James. And I don't even know if that's the real name, because Fowler, just ironically, fowl chicken. I don't even know if that's the person's real name. But, and then it says like 50 chicken recipes bound to be delicious. So, and then it even says underneath here, a parody in a cookbook. It needs to be received super lighthearted, and if not, it's not something that I can share here on my channel. And that's just because whenever something 50 comes up, like any kind of actual 50 Shades of Grey reference in association to my channel, people consistently unsubscribe. And I know the actual 50 Shades of Grey books are not for everyone. But if you followed my channel, you know that this channel is not about me having like a closet full of S&M things to use in the bedroom with my husband. Although I'm a huge fan, there's so many facets of being a mom that is where my name originated from. I've spoke about this on my channel a bunch of times before, but for those of you who are new, who may not know where that came from, yes, I'm a fan of the books, but I really loved that I got to bring in something that I love. 50 Shades of Grey has a lot of symbolism for me. This year, going home on spring break, I leave tomorrow to go home to drive to New York for a spring break. And it was this time 4 years ago that I listened to the very first book on the way home. And I actually got so into the book that when I got off to get gas, I got back on the wrong way. And I drove like 6 hours in the opposite direction and ended up in Georgia before I realized I was going the wrong way, okay? That's like no lie, that's real talk right there. That's how caught up I got into the whole story and the book and everything. But I've read easily in the last 4 years a couple of hundred books. So more books in the last couple of years of my life than I've read in my entire life. And 50 did that for me. It just kind of reminded me that I love to read. And so something that I really enjoy, and symbolism to who I am and relatable to who I am right now, plays into every facet of being a mom. There's like, we're chefs, right? And we're maids, and we're chauffeurs, and we're nurses, and we're therapists, and like the accountants, and the list goes on, right? So that's really where it was. It was me being able to use a play on something that I loved off of all the different ways to be a mom. But I'm still a fan. And so when it comes down to me sharing anything 50 related, like when I did my 50 Shades of Grey party, I lose subscribers every time that I share. Last year when I shared my party, I think I lost like 6, but I only had a couple of hundred subscribers at that point. So that made like a huge impact for me. But this year I lost like 15. Again, that's not like an overwhelmingly amount, and part of me wants to say, hey, if you don't like what I'm about, then don't watch. But it's still sad because I don't want somebody to take away from this thinking that that's all that I am, because I have so much to offer and I love to share. And if this is not something you're interested in watching, then I just don't want someone to watch this particular video. But I feel like maybe I have something to offer in other videos that maybe someone's not going to watch because they're hung up on this. So now, making a really short story long, there is this book. So inside of the cookbook, right, it's divided up into 3 sections, just like the way that 50 Shades of Grey is divided into 3 parts. So it's the Novice Bird. I'm sorry, there's always a glare in this window. So it says the Novice Bird, which, you know, being book 1. And then number 2, book 2 is Falling to Pieces. And then number 3 is Birds Gone Wild. Okay, so there's an introduction. It's these 2 pages right here. It's like not really tiny text, so I've already done kind of like a read through to see how long it would take me. And then there's another 2-page like introduction before the first recipe. So here's what I think I'm going to do. If you're willing, get yourself a drink, grab yourself a snack. Like I said, I've already did a test run, so it's not that long. It's like 7 minutes. I'm going to read to you guys that introduction and then those 2 pages that's in front of the very first recipe. And then I'm going to leave it up to you guys. I'm going to ask that you guys be kind. I'm not looking for a bunch of thumbs down and everything, because I'm putting myself out here to ask respectfully as an adult your guys' opinion. So if after me reading the introduction and this first little section, it appears that it's something that just might be too risque and not welcomed, then I want opinions, not like thumbs down. I want, nah, I think it's a little too much, or it's not something I would be interested in, or that was totally funny, I would love to see more. Because when I first read this and I saw all this stuff, I started to call a bunch of my girlfriends and say like, oh my goodness, would you share this? Like, how would you feel? Do you think people would be like disturbed? Would they be mad? And of course, my girlfriend Jen, she finds a YouTube trailer, a trailer on YouTube, because of course YouTube has a trailer, and there's a trailer for this cookbook. So I'm going to put that in the description box below. But when I showed it to Daryl, we laughed so hard because he's like, we could do that. You can prepare the chicken and I could do a voiceover. And Daryl does voices and stuff, so we talked about doing like Elmo and like all these fun things. I feel like we could do it really fun. I just feel like you have to have a very open mind. I'm gonna call this segment, if it is able to take off, like 50 Shades of Chicken After Dark. So it's like a reference to the fact that this is something that is more of a adult, open-minded video, and you just have to be willing to accept that. So I don't know how well this is going to be received. I'm not the greatest of readers, so we'll see what you guys think. But sit back, relax, and let's try our very first edition of 50 Shades of Chicken After Dark. You know it's going to get serious when I'm about to put my hair up, right? Alright guys, here goes nothing. Introduction. How have I gotten myself into this? I glance around the spotless, meticulous, organized kitchen. Trussing, twine, skewers, mallets. Is that a cleaver? Holy crap. I don't even fit in. I share a shelf in the fridge with a ham so enormous I have to huddle up against the door, even though it's a double-wide Sub-Zero. The other shelves are stuffed with bags of leafy greens, neatly wrapped paper parcels of what might be fish or fancy cheese, and uniform rows of carefully labeled condiment jars. Down in a crisper all by itself is a radish, aloof and flaunting its freshness. Then there's me, mundane, scrawny, and shrink-wrapped. I'm closest with the enormous ham, even though she's much cooler than I am. She hogs the shelf, but she's my nearest and dearest friend. She's piquant, smoky, salty, pig-headed, bodacious, and always seems to know what's cooking. She'll make an exceptional holiday dinner. Suddenly, the fridge door I'm resting on swings open, and I find myself rolling off of the shelf and falling towards the kitchen floor. My plastic wrapper bursts as I land, and my giblet bag slides halfway out. Damn, my cheap packaging. Instantly, I feel hands on me, lifting me carefully from the tiles. Long, powerful fingers cradle me from underneath and expertly tuck my giblets back in place. Holy cow. Something clenches deep inside of me. My rescuer lays me gently on a countertop. He's wearing jeans and a clean white apron. He's young and handsome, with a rakish mop of hair. He has muscled arms and clearly works out, but it's his hands that have me mesmerized. They're smooth, pale, perfectly manicured, and beyond competent. The kitchen is all sleek white tile, blonde wood, and black granite. There's no clutter on the shiny counters, and the ceramic backsplash is bare except for an incredibly long magnetic knife rack. It's filled with gray steel blades of all kinds, fat, thin, long, short, curved, and straight, and all of them obviously sharp as hell. Displayed together, they are breathtaking. He notices my attention fixed on them. You like my collection? He asks coolly. Extraordinary, like an artist's tools, I say slowly. He cocks his head to one side and then to the other. He looks at me in a way that sears my gizzard. I couldn't agree more, he replies, his voice suddenly soft, and for some reason I find myself blushing. There must be 4 dozen knives up there, I stammer. I'm hypnotized by their gleaming edges and his hands at the same time. 50 blades, to be precise, he intones. This kitchen is my domain. I need to have complete control where I prep. The way he says it shakes my liver out of place again. Mr. Blades can prep me anytime. I can imagine, I managed to say. It's all about finesse, Miss Hen. Whoa, he keeps shifting direction. He's so weirdly formal. Who calls a chicken Miss Hen? But then, nobody's ever really taken the time to talk to me before. I have enormous respect for food, he continues. To derive deep satisfaction from the mundane, touring a radish, cutting a potato, portioning a syllabub, these form the foundation of what I do. Raising the mundane to the extraordinary, I say, mesmerized. I really shouldn't look at his hands. It's unsettling. He cocks his head and gazes at me. I blush again under the burning force of that stare. He's cooking me with his eyes. How does he do that? His words continue to echo in the secret darkness of my soul. It's all about finesse. Chickens don't do finesse, my subconscious sneers at me. I flush at my foolish inward thoughts. But a girl can dream, can't she? So that was the introduction, and then one says the novice bird, and you could see he's like tying the chicken up with twine. I think that's so cute. I really love, like I said, the innuendos. I love that this is from the chicken's perspective, which is like Anna's perspective. So super cute about that. Okay, and so now here are the 2 pages that are the precursor to chapter 1. He's clearly not into me. I wait quietly on the counter and watch his skillful, knowing hands work. Desire pools way down in my cavity, and in spite of myself, I start to daydream while he prepares a radish. He cocks an eyebrow. Penny for your thoughts, Miss Hen? He appears focused on his task, but there's a slight glint in his eye. I flush. Oh, I was just imagining your hands traveling up my thighs and your teeth nibbling my breast. You seem to have a lot of little bowls, I say, as calmly as possible. He has arranged a dozen tiny ramekins in an orderly row on the counter. He fills each one of them with a spice, an herb, or a chopped ingredient, carefully proportioned from a measuring spoon. You're a very sharp-eyed chicken, he says, and that look returns. I exercise perfect control over everything that happens in this kitchen. I require exactitude for my ingredients. What a control freak, and arrogant to boot, but the apron he's wearing hangs off his hips in a way that turns my bones to jelly. So what are you whipping up there? I ask hopefully. Well, what I'm whipping up, as you put it, is a salade composée, he says, without a trace of humor in his smile. I create experiences. It's my belief that a meal can be a transcendent experience, like a Bach concerto. It's all about finesse. I know what makes ingredients tick. I find the best ones and then take them beyond themselves. The bottom line is that it always comes down to ingredients that know what I want. He stares at me intensely. Why does he have such an unnerving effect on me? He's constantly shifting. 1 minute he's all foxy looks and hungry smiles. The next he's cut and sharp. His fridge is packed with exotic foods, but he seems to have eyes only for the radish. Could it be? Are you a vegetarian? I blurt, before I can stop myself. He draws a sharp breath. I am mortified beyond words. Why can't I keep my head on for once? My agonized subconscious is begging me on bended knee to stop gabbling. No, chicken, I am not. He cocks his head to one side and stares coolly at me. He is not amused. I cringe. I feel the blood drain from my entire body. I'm sorry, I stammer. It just popped out. A timer goes off, saving my skin. You know, I could find a use for you in this menu, he says suddenly. The preparations would be minimal enough for a novice with relatively uncomplicated flavor profiles. Is he considering me for an entree? Oh, thank you, but I don't think I'm up to scratch. Why not? Isn't it obvious? I'm underweight, graceless, and wrapped in cheap plastic. Not to me. I suspect you have great potential. You seem so versatile. His gaze is intense, and I feel a strange pull low down in my body. I appreciate the offer, I stammer. I really do, but I don't believe I'm prepared for this position. He sets his mouth in a hard line for a moment, then picks me up in his hands. He adjusts my wrapper and helps me back into the sub-zero fridge. Very well, Miss Hen, until we meet again. I feel a strange charge come through his fingertips before he sets me down. Must be static electricity. I believe I'll never live down the vegetarian question, but I have a thrilling, dark intuition that those hands aren't done with me yet. So, you could tell that, like, she's just scratching the surface. So, the next recipe is called plain vanilla chicken. So if you know anything about 50, you know the play off of vanilla. So here's the recipe. It says plain vanilla chicken, and it's a whole roasted chicken and vanilla flavors. And so basically I've read on to this section. So here's that first page, and then it only goes up to here and then here. Oops, sorry guys. It only goes up to here, and then there is the recipe. So really that author is just kind of cracking the surface with those two little introductions, but things kind of start to heat up, I should say, as the cookbook develops, just like within the books. So I really want to share this. Like, that vanilla chicken recipe looks so darn good that I really want to make it. I would love to prepare that chicken and stop first, read that beginning and then have Daryl do a voiceover while I'm preparing the chicken. I think it could be a lot of fun. I just want to make sure that putting this out there for you guys, I'm not going to offend anybody. No one's going to say, I don't want to watch this person, because I really enjoy each and every one of you. I enjoy all the correspondence. I know I don't always get to respond to every comment. Sometimes I'm surprised I even can get a video up as often as I do, but I read every single one, and you guys make me smile. 99% of the comments are always so sweet and so kind, and so I just don't want to offend anybody. I want to keep my friendships going. I want to be able to have you guys keep coming back and interacting with me. It just kind of helps with my mundane mom life. So I don't really want to lose anybody by offending anybody. So make sure you guys comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Watch that trailer, you guys, before you comment. Like, unclick from this, go watch the trailer, and then go comment down below, because it is so, I just want to know what your guys' feel is on all of this. So like I said, I'm looking for your feedback. Thank you so much if you've stayed all the way through and you've listened for 20 minutes, me babble on about 50 Shades of Chicken. I genuinely appreciate you. You're very kind. So thank you so much. I hope that you guys enjoy it. I hope this is something we can do that's just, it's going to be lighthearted and fun, and just like an after dark kind of thing, a little mommy fun kind of thing, or anybody fun, really. So thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye, guys.